Know thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word of my mouth, and warn them from me.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Middle Tennessee and examining current events from a biblical perspective, this is Bible News Radio with your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harp.
That's better. Hello, everybody. Hey, I want to welcome you. I want to welcome you to today's episode of Bible News Radio. Hey, you know what? Don't you like that music? The guy that made it, I should thank him because it's super cool. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about your mental health. Yeah, we are. Or your mental... Well, no, I won't say that. Never mind. Anyway, hey, we're going to talk about your mental health. As you know, it's a favorite topic of mine with my background as a clinically trained marriage and family therapist. You guys might know that I say that because I'm not licensed, even though I'm like way more trained than the licensed therapist in my state. But that's beside the point. Anyway, that's what the MS stands for if you're new. Masters of Science. Anyway, so today what we're going to do is we're going to talk to my good friend Dr. Jennifer Fee, who charges a fee for her services. I'm sorry. You should be. Hey, I have a right to make fun of her because I actually met her I don't know, 17 years ago, 15, 17 years ago, something like that. When I was in graduate school, she was she was my only professor in graduate school that taught me cognitive behavioral therapy. Yeah, she did. And we used this book called Mind Over Mood, which is an actual classic, by the way. You guys can go check it out. You can get the workbook over on Amazon. Anyway, I love her. You know, we have been friends for a very long time. We have we played tennis together. Yeah, we did. And I taught her pickleball. Yeah, I did. And then when the people in California that we played pickleball with were mean to Jennifer, I defended her. Because, there's some mean pickleball players in California. There's some testy ones here in Tennessee. In the event that you're watching and you're one of my pickleball friends, just so you know, my new book, Pickleball Faith, Inspiration on and Off the Court, is coming soon. We're almost done with the cover, and we're also, we're going to roll it out. Hopefully by the end of June it'll be out. We'll see. That's my goal anyway. But anyway, so today what we're going to do is we're going to take your questions. If you have any questions about mental health, mental illness, anxiety, depression, obsessive compulsive disorder, stress management, anything like that, then Dr. Jennifer Fee and me are going to go ahead and take those questions. I actually got one already that came in through my text message list. And we also are going to be telling you about a new webinar that Jennifer and me are going to be doing. Jennifer and I, for all you English Nazis out there, are going to be doing next Wednesday. We'll tell you about that in just a second. But let me tell you who Jennifer is. She is a licensed clinical psychologist with over 25 years of experience and training, helping people with anxiety, panic, stress, management, depression, trauma recovery, and she's also a professor, adjunct professor at Vanguard University of Southern California. She practices in Newport Beach as well as Placentia, California, has her own private practices down there. She's almost done with the book she's writing as well. And I have to tell you, she is a TEDx speaker, which I'm very proud of her for. In fact, if you go to her website, drjenniferfee.com, you'll be able to see that TEDx talk that she gave last year at the end of the year, where she actually shared a really touching personal story about her dad, and so much more. So, but most importantly, she is my friend that I learned to play better tennis with. and I wish lived here in Tennessee with me so that we could play pickleball together a lot. But anyway, so yeah, hey, Jennifer, come on the air. Oh, and also she is a Gold Star favored Periscoper on Periscope because Periscope loves her, whatever reason. They like highlight her 15 million times, seems like. But anyway, Jennifer, welcome to the show. Glad that you're back with me, and I'm really happy that you're here because not only did I just get to see you and stay at your house in California for a whole week, but yeah, we have planned something for our audience that hopefully a number of them will partake in. So, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Stacey. It's always fun to be on your show, and it's been a while.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has.
We've come a long day from our discussion of Farmville and its psychological impacts.
That was a long time ago. I think I was still in grad school when that took place. I think. Yeah, if those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Farmville, you remember when Farmville came out on Facebook, everybody and their grandmother was playing it. I thought that it would be a good idea to do a show with Jennifer on, how people laid out their farms, what we could learn about somebody's mind from it. And I think that we were pretty accurate.
I think we were too. I mean, that was so much fun. And I remember that may have been the first online interview I had ever done. I just remember being super, super anxious doing it with you, but it was fun too.
Yeah, but I think it was just a podcast though. We weren't on video. We've come a long way. You are on Periscope all the time now. You are a celebrity. Periscope corporate loves you. How many times have you been highlighted? I'm just curious.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, a bunch. I mean, at least 8 or 9 times, I think. And always at the most random times. Always when I'm not having a good hair day, or I'm grumpy, or I don't necessarily feel like scoping. That's when they feature me.
I know. I wish they'd do that with me. They never feature me. It's anyway, we won't go there. Anyway, so so here's the thing. I know that you're working on a lot of different projects, but I also know, and I'm going to pick on you just, this much, because I want everybody to know that Dr. Jennifer Fee, even though sometimes she's on Periscope, this is what she does. She gets on, she's like, "Hi, I'm Dr. Jennifer Fee, and I'm here to help you with your anxiety. If you have a comment or a question, make sure that you copy and paste it so I can get to it in case I miss it the first time."
You are so mean. But that's also very accurate too.
Well, hey, this is the thing. Okay, so you're kind of, and anyway, I'm not really, well, I am. I'm kind of teasing you, but it's so funny because you're not that way. I mean, when you get to really know you, you're like me. You're funny and you're kind of goofy. Jennifer has one of the funniest senses of humor. Her and me we can be so mad and irritated and griping about stuff, but we have this killer personality, sense of humor that's dry, but it's really funny at the same time. And I was just kind of encouraging her to lighten up a little bit on scope. But anyway, well, so what are you gonna do about that now, huh?
I don't know. I think there's something in me that I think that when I go live, I have to have this calming presence, and rather than being my normal goofy spastic self. But
all right. Okay. So one of the things that we talked about already is that you are an actual psychologist, and you specialize in anxiety and treatments and anxiety disorders, EMDR, really big issues. And honestly, I think that you're probably one of the foremost experts that I personally know, probably in the world. You're like, no, not the world, but I would say at least in California or the internet that I know of. about the issue. And so I want to know, I want people to kind of get to know you a little bit. Why did you become a psychologist? I mean, what was the trigger for that? Because it's only insane people go to graduate school. And, I mean, in the field of psychology, to top it off, you must be crazy, at least a little bit, to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and really, there's a few different reasons that I got into the field. The very, very first reason, I was in the 5th grade, and this graduate student came. She was doing research for her PhD. So she was doing some kind of psychological study. I have no idea what it was. I have no memory of that, but I remember being one of her subjects, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever that that she was doing research on people. And I was like, I want to do that. So that experience was really significant for me. And then when I got into high school, I wasn't the best student. Science, math, all that kind of stuff was not easy for me. But I took a psychology class in high school, and it just like everything was super easy. I could read things once and remember it, and I enjoyed it. And I'm like, I want to be a psych major. And that continued into college, although at that point I discovered, I don't really want to do research. I want to work with people clinically. And to top it all off, which is a common theme for a lot of us that get into the field, that we come from a lot of us come from difficult, challenging backgrounds, which, I do as well, with a lot of childhood abuse and issues of depression and trauma myself, and that drives a lot of people into the field. So that was definitely a big factor with me getting into the field too.
Yeah, and one of the things, honestly, that I can say about you, as opposed to, I would say, and you don't have to comment on my statistics, this is just my observation, but I would say, and I've said this publicly before, that I don't know if you guys can hear me. Is that better? That most people who go into the helping professions, at least as a therapist, I don't think most people really deal with their issues at the level that they should, so that they become healthier people and healthy and not using the field to their clients to help them with their mental health. I would say that you are probably one of the healthiest people that I know emotionally, because you I have seen, in your own personal, development and working on, the issues that you struggle with. Because we all, hey, people, just so you know, we all have issues. People like to deny their issues, but one of the reasons I love you is because I know that you work through your issues. You've been married for 30 years? You have 2 children who are absolutely wonderful. I love both of them, and your husband is wonderful as well. And I also love your animals. I can't say that about the snake, but I do love Daisy and Hershey. And I love Simon when Simon was around, and Fresno I also loved. So there's a lot of, huh?
You could take the whole show just to go through our list of pets.
I know. And then there was Boo Boo, and then, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. But it's true. You're a person who doesn't just practice. I mean, you actually practice what you preach. You're not somebody who doesn't use the tools that you teach other people. Mm-hmm. Which is why when we decided to do scoping together, we had this idea that people might actually want to learn from us. Why? Because we're funny. I'm funnier than she is, but still, I think that would be good. So we are going to be launching a free webinar next week. Do you want to tell them about it?
Sure. Yes. So the webinar will be on May 15th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That's 8 p.m. Central, right?
That's right. Yes.
We are going to talk about 5 ways to a peaceful mind. So 5 avenues to a peaceful mind. So it'll be a half an hour webinar, absolutely free, give you good content, and probably do about 20 minutes of content, 10 minutes of questions, something like that. but definitely going to, fill it with hopefully stuff that you can use even from just that webinar.
Yeah. Well, I think, even if we go over a few minutes, we don't want to take a lot of people's time, but this is it's going to be very impactful, as my husband he loves that word. Yeah, he does. Anyway, yeah. And so we wanted to go ahead and give you a link. You guys need to go to this register. It's absolutely free. If you go to bit.ly/5 in the word peace, it has to be all capitalized. If you go there, and we're going to keep that up on the screen for a little bit. Okay, Bareface, if you don't mind. Bareface. It's not his real name. No. But anyway, okay, so anyway, bit.ly /5 peace. That's just to register. Once you register, you will get an email, and it will tell you that we'll be sending you a link the day of the webinar, okay? And you'll get an email before it to remind you and all that. But we really, really want you to come to this because we want you to come to it. It's our first. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, and I have an exercise planned that anyone who's watching the webinar can kind of assess where they're at in terms of what areas of their life they're doing well and what areas they might be struggling. And you might be saying, "Oh, I already know that," but I think this will show you kind of visually in a way maybe you haven't looked at it before. So when I do this exercise with my students, my psychology students, they're often like, "Wow, look at this." So I don't want to give too much away about it, but that's going to be one of the main things we're doing in the webinar.
Yeah, it'll be good. So make sure you guys go to bit.ly /5 peace, all capitalized, if you're listening to our podcast. All right, so, and I'm excited about this because I have to tell you guys, Jennifer is one of the best teachers in the world, in my opinion. Yeah, I know. Hey, what are you laughing about?
You must have a small world.
Well, in my world, you are. Hey, how long have you taught? You've taught in college, like graduate level college, for what, like 15, 20 years almost? 100?
Yeah, almost. I've been at my current school for 16 years, but before that, before that I taught at another school as an adjunct. So yeah, it's like maybe, somewhere close on 20 years. It's a long time. So I've learned a thing or two about teaching along the way.
I know. Well, it's because you're old.
I can't believe it took you this long into the show to make the old comment.
Yeah, you are. Just so you know, she dyes her hair. People, don't let the. It's obvious because that's what happens when you're older. You dye your hair. Right?
No, I dye my hair because it's fun, not because I'm gray. I actually still have my natural color.
You do? Purple? Isn't that? You did purple, right?
I did purple. It's not purple right now.
See,
but
that's a hint right there about her personality for real. See, she comes on Periscope. Hi, I'm Dr. Jennifer Fee, and I'm here to help you. Anyway, but she actually does stuff like puts purple in her hair. Yeah, she does.
I do.
Just saying.
But not because I'm gray.
Yeah, that's true. I'm actually more gray than you are.
Yeah.
I have a better memory than you, though, just so you know.
Huh?
All right. Okay. I actually got a question before the show from somebody. They didn't tell me I could use their name, so I'm just going to throw this out. I'm going to see here if they're in the chat room, just to see if they're there. I don't know. I'm not seeing. Okay, they might not be there, but whatever. Here's the question I got. How can you cope with difficult anxiety symptoms due to a situation that you must deal with daily? For example, an ex-boyfriend now dating a former friend at work.
Ooh.
I know, huh?
Right. So I'm taking that as that this person is at work with a friend and the former boyfriend, like all at the same time.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So, well, that's difficult on so many levels. I mean, the first thing that hits me is how can you engage in the grieving process if it's so fresh in front of you that your ex is with your friend. I would think that'd be really challenging, but it's interesting that this person's having anxiety as a result of, instead of like some other emotion like just anger or sadness, right? So there's something about it that's making her feel anxious. So in like, I view anxiety as a messenger that's trying to point us to something important, trying to tell us something important, which was the TEDx talk. So if there's anxiety, then it tell you something about the situation. And I'd encourage you to ask, what is it about this that's making me anxious, rather than just sad or rather than just angry, and go from there and figure it out. So to me, it would not be about just trying to get rid of the anxiety, but look at what's underneath the anxiety and why that's triggering that. That was my first thought to that question.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's cool that you bring up the issue of grief, because I believe wholeheartedly that grief is usually an underlying attachment issue. I don't mean an attachment issue like an attachment disorder, but I think it's actually an issue that's generally attached to anxiety or depression, unresolved grief, because we live in a society that doesn't allow us to grieve. I remember, I don't remember if I read this book in grad school or if it was just something I read for fun. It might have been grad school. Maybe it was college, called Necessary Losses by Judith V. Horst. You remember that book?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. Well, anyway, it's a book called Necessary Losses, and it's by Judith V. Horst, and it's very Freudian in the presentation. It's very psychodynamic in that regard. And basically the whole gist of this really thick book, which is relatively boring actually, was basically that every single day we have loss. Like, for example, let's say Jennifer promised to call me at 2:00, but she didn't. I was super excited about it because I couldn't wait to talk to her. And then she texts me at 2:30 and says, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to call you." The fact that I was waiting and I was super excited to talk to her at 2, that was a disappointment. That was a loss because I was planning on doing that. Not that she would ever do that, because she doesn't at all, actually. But it's those things, necessary losses that we don't deal with the grief issue, right? So yeah, anxiety is often in the fight or flight response. It's the thing that we see the most, but most people don't deal with the unresolved stuff underneath. So I think that's why you need to listen to Dr. Jennifer Fee, because she is so cool. Yeah, she is.
Well, I'm glad you think I'm cool.
You are.
But anxiety, it's important to remember that anxiety is our body's warning system that there's danger present, and it gets us ready to deal with that danger. And that makes a whole lot more sense if you're crossing the street and there's a car coming and you've got to move yourself out of the way. It makes less sense from a physiological perspective if the danger is an emotion like grief. All of us are afraid of emotions to some level, grief being one of them. And I've seen bunches of people who, when they are willing to engage in the deeper, more difficult grief, then their anxiety dissipates. But it's not just grief. It can be something that's unjust in someone's life. It can be in the TEDx I talk about an underlying experience of trauma that's unrecognized. It can be a whole bunch of things, but that if you focus on that key idea that your body's getting you ready to deal with a danger, it's just a matter of what is the danger, and is it a real danger that you actually need adrenaline, for, or is it a perceived danger that you need to address, not so much physically, but in a different way?
Yeah, that is absolutely right. So a couple of people are telling me to stop embarrassing you. Am I embarrassing you?
No, when I agree to come on Bible News Radio, part of the informed consent is that I know I'm going to get teased and picked on and reminded of how I got beat at tennis, and all of those things that come with being a guest on Bible News Radio.
I did not bring that up. Although, yeah, my award's downstairs. Anyway, that's a sidebar.
No.
Actually, okay, so do any of you have any serious questions? I've seen a couple of inappropriate ones in our chat room, but let me say hi to Dr. John, who came in, and Gina, and Danielle is in the house, Joshua, Sharon, Zane is there, Wanda is there, Sean is there, Melanie is there, Christian, Jeannie is there, Paul, Rhonda. I don't know if that's a legitimate name, so I'm not going to say that. Paul, Michelle, and Mark. And I don't know, so any of you, and Bareface, of course, Bareface. He has mental health issues as well. So he might actually have a question. Yeah. So Melanie says, nothing seems to embarrass Jennifer considering some of the callers she takes on her show. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, speaking of that, you did a call with Periscope's new feature where people with weird names can call in. Yeah, and graphic pictures.
Oh my gosh. I seem to attract them. I seem to attract the most inappropriate, people. Yeah.
I think it would be pretty much anything, but that actually opens up another topic, which is the idea of anonymity in our culture and the ability for people who are mentally unstable to engage with people online because they feel like they're never going to get caught or busted, even though they're using some fake name. It's kind of immature, I think, but what do you think? Why do you think that is such a... Why do you think people do that? I guess that's a good question.
I think you answered it, that if they believe they have anonymity, then it gives the permission or opens up this, let me put out there my most impulsive, immature, raw self. And I find that interesting because I thought we all knew at this point that no one is anonymous, that. And if we really wanted to, if we really wanted to trace that caller that I had on my show last time, he could be found. But yeah, and I think you see that behind people that make all the negative comments on YouTube and political sites and everywhere else. People are just much more mean when it's less personal online. They're not even anonymous necessarily. They'll, be using their names and just be mean in print. So I think we lose sight of that you're talking to real people with real feelings.
Right. And it's not okay, so in case people don't know what she's talking about, there was a person who put up a penis picture, a naked penis that was his profile picture. And he came on her show and said something inappropriate, aside from the fact that the picture was inappropriate. But, I actually, what's interesting to me is I remember when I was on Blab one time and we were letting people in, there was actually a guy who came into our chat room nude. From the waist down nudity, you saw him, he was playing with himself. And it was, and I thought... First of all, I clicked him out as soon as possible, but I thought, really, what possesses people to do that? Honestly, in my mind, a couple of things. Maybe they've been abused. Maybe they just think it's funny. I don't know.
Well, or they have an inability to have a relationship like that. I don't know how to interact with people in in a person-to-person way, but they're still trying to connect in some way.
Yeah.
So I tend to, and like the fact that he came on and did that in and of itself, it doesn't bother me. I don't remember what I said. I said something and then hung up on him. What really bothers me is that if there are children watching,
Right,
or people getting exposed to it, that it would trigger them in some way. That's what I find unacceptable. And I know that that's probably the last thing on their mind, that how their behavior impacts other people, and that it could just be very hurtful or triggering, or, like I said, with children, expose them to things that they're not, that they're, shouldn't be exposed to at their age.
yeah. Sorry, my allergies are acting up quite badly, people. By the way, I want to thank everybody who's been praying for me and sending me messages asking me how I'm doing, with my throat and stuff. I literally, the allergies, the last 3 days, the pollen here in Tennessee is like out of this world. It's bad. I can literally go outside. I can be feeling pretty good inside, but if I go outside, all of a sudden, it's like, hey, there she is. Let's go down her throat. Let's scratch it for her. Let's irritate the heck out of her. Seriously, it's irritating. But anyway, so I still have that. But anyway, I see some of your comments, and I want to take a break here in just a second. But Dr. John up in Canada says Dr. Fee is exceedingly tolerant of callers on her show. Yes, you are. And he says the agreement to follow the normative social contract is diminished online, unfortunately. And it's so true. First of all, I have to tell you, Jennifer and I do not agree on a lot of stuff, just so you know. People find that hard to believe. I'm pretty right-wing conservative, and Jennifer's not. We actually practice the actual meaning of the word tolerance. We've learned in our relationship that there are things that we just are not going to agree on, certain things, but we still really love each other and understand, and we're open to dialogue and stuff. And I just think that that's part of the problem with our culture, is that that doesn't seem to be the norm. But that actually, to me, is a sign of emotional maturity, that you can actually, quote, tolerate somebody's point of view. It doesn't even have to be a political or whatever point of view. It can be anything. You know what? I like the word impactful. Bareface doesn't. I tolerate Bareface because every time I say the word impactful, I hear his stupid voice inside my head going, that's not a real word. It's irritating to me. And yet, I'm still married to him. Almost 27 long, arduous years. Married to Bareface. And his English Nazi grammar policeness of it all. You know what I mean? So anyway, tolerance. Gotta learn tolerance, people. Maybe we'll do a webinar on tolerance. What real tolerance is. It might be a good idea. Okay, let's take one question here before I take a break here to thank my sponsor. Okay, so there's a guy named, let me see here, I'm scrolling back up, Wizard304, who asks the question, is something wrong with someone who is extremely shy? And wait, hold on, I think there's more to your question. And I'm scrolling back up through here. Oh, okay. And then Norse Wester, he wants to know, that's why I am genuinely interested in her take on Freud as a believer. Okay. All right. Dialogue is a missing art. Yeah, it is. Okay. Okay, so the first question comes from that other guy. I just forgot your name because I'm old. Wizard304. Is something wrong with someone being extremely shy? Jennifer, you want to talk about that?
I don't think in and of itself, I would ask, well, is being shy a problem for that person? Like, do you want to keeping you from doing things that you want to do, or keeping things you need to do, thinking about school and work? Because we all, and shyness is on a continuum, and then we could talk about being an introvert or an extrovert, which speaks more to where you get your energy from. There are shy extroverts, so extroverts get their energy from being with other people, but just because they get their energy from being with other people doesn't mean that they're not that you can't be shy. So that can be problematic for some people, because it's like, I want to be with people, but I'm shy, or and then of shy to social anxiety. We could talk about that. There are also outgoing extroverts who are not so shy, but they get also. My husband is one. I would call him a very outgoing extrovert, where he will throw himself into a social situation wholeheartedly, but then he'll crash, because he has to replenish his energy by being by himself. So hopefully that wasn't too roundabout an answer. I think in and of itself, our temperament is not a problem.
Right.
It's just how do we need to grow, and what challenges do we face in light of our temperament?
See how professional that is? That's so professional. That's what you're going to get when you go to our webinar, people. I'll be there to have fun. Dr. Jennifer Fee will be there to be all serious. Yeah.
I need to lighten up.
Well, so your husband, I guess I haven't seen him in the context you're talking about. I've always seen him at your house. Mm-hmm. He's very funny, actually. He is. He's a great guy. Anyway. Okay, so on to the topic about Freud, Sigmund Freud. Dr. Sigmund Freud has contributed to all of our lives in more ways than you really realize. Most people only know Freud from basic stuff, but you would be really surprised at how much he's actually influenced our culture, our language, all of that. Of course, I don't agree with him on most things, but what do you think?
Well, people always bring up Freud, but that and therapy, that I think that's akin to talking about automobiles and talking about Henry Ford. Henry Ford was extremely influential in bringing us cars, but none of us are driving a Model T Ford right now, right? We're driving probably Hondas and Toyotas and Chevys. The car, the technology of the car has evolved so much. Well, the same thing is true even within psychodynamic theory. There's a whole slew of people that came after Freud that were certainly influenced by him, but that you have no idea who their names are.
Who are they?
So, who are they? Oh, like people like Winnicott, who talked about the good enough parents, that we don't have to be perfect parents, but that if we provide, a certain amount of love, a certain amount of good attachment, if we meet basic needs, we're not going to be perfect parents or perfectly attuned to our children, but that our children can be, relatively healthy even with our shortcomings as parents, for example.
Yeah. Well, Melanie said that anyone who has slipped has experienced Freud. Melanie, you need to write a joke book. Okay. And Dr. John says Adler, Maslow, Rogers, Beck. I would also add Fee. I would add Harp. No, just kidding about that part.
You're certainly a pioneer, and we had to start somewhere, right?
I'm a pioneer, really?
No, not well. I don't know. Maybe you are a pioneer. I was still talking about Freud.
Yeah. Oh.
Given what he had to go on in the field.
True.
Pretty amazing guy. I'm not a huge Freud fan, but every pioneer has to start somewhere.
Who's your favorite psycho person?
Oh, my favorite psycho person.
Yeah.
See, I would say probably current people. Like there's a psychologist named Dr. Anna Gomez who's done amazing work with children and EMDR and attachment therapy, and healing. She works in a team approach, like helping divorced families, children in divorced families, like heal, and helping the parents, like, own their own stuff in the divorce, and provide a healing environment for those children. Like, she's one of my psychologist heroes. So, and there's a few other people I could talk about, but yeah, I would say current people that I've actually met and talked to.
Yeah. See, everybody, Dr. Jennifer Fee has heroes. Yeah, she does. I pulled it out right here on Bible News Radio. Okay, all right. So let's take a break, and then we'll talk about the Bible for a minute. And actually, during the break, you guys throw in your questions, and don't forget, also during the break, go to bit.ly/5, the word peace, and sign up for our webinar today. You'll like it. You will like it. You will. Okay? Go, there it is right there. bit.ly/P. I don't know. Can't do it. It's backward. Anyway. All right.
Very spatially challenged.
I am. I'm directionally challenged. I'm geographically challenged. Occasionally mentally challenged. Yeah, I am. I'm just challenged, which is why I carry around a gavel. Because it gives me a sense of empowerment, people. Oh, and here's the other thing. Yeah, I'm sure Jennifer will mock me eventually. So here's the thing. Order in the court, people. Haven't you always wanted to do that? In our culture today, apparently, you can only use a gavel if you're an auctioneer, if you are the head of the HOA, if you happen to be on the city council and you're the mayor. See. If you're a judge, true. But me, hey, I'm bringing the gavel to Periscope. Yeah, I am. You know why? Because I like it. It's fun. And not only that, you can get this on Amazon, man. All you gotta do is go to my Amazon store. Although I haven't linked it yet, so don't go there yet. But you can go there and get some stuff. All right, couple of things I want to point you to, though. Tomorrow, Bible News Radio is having Christian apologetic expert J. Warner Wallace, who has authored the book Cold Case Christianity, and this book Forensic Faith. Wait, that one right there. Forensic Faith, and he has a brand new book coming out. He has been on Dateline NBC. He was an atheist and a cold case homicide detective. Very cool guy. He actually appeared in the movie God's Not Dead 2 as one of the witnesses in the court. He appeared as himself. He was like, hello, here I am. Anyway, he gave evidence for whatever it was that they needed it for in that movie. And I have to tell you that I am super excited to have him on my show after trying to get in touch with him for about a year. He finally responded. It was a miracle, mini miracle. Anyway, so I'm super excited to have him on the show tomorrow. So you guys make sure you tune in tomorrow at 4:00, okay? Or you can watch the archive, but it's going to be more fun in person, okay? And so that's tomorrow. Also, we're doing a Bible study in the book of 1 Peter, and I want to recommend that you go to ariel.org in order to buy their 1 Peter series on MP3 format, or you can get the PDF, or you can get the actual hard copy sent to you. The hard copy of the Bible study in 1 Peter is $5. The MP3 is $3. That's it. You guys can get that. You can save 20% on that whopping purchase of $5 or $3. You can actually save 20% on that when you use the coupon code Bible News and get a solid Bible teaching, okay? And Camp Shoshana also is something we got to tell you about. There it is right there. Camp Shoshana. One of these days I'm going to go there. But in the meantime, if you go there, go to campshoshana.com to learn more. And it goes through from July 7th through September 2nd. You know, they offer 1, 2, 3, 4, I think up to 7 weeks that you could be up there at camp in the Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York, studying the Bible from a Messianic Jewish perspective with some of the top Bible scholars in literally the world. Dr. Arnold Fruchtenbaum is an international Messianic Bible teacher and scholar, and I have to tell you that he has been traveling for over 40 years, and you'll get him up there for a couple of weeks for sure, teaching, and it'll be great. It will be. Okay, the other thing, don't forget to get, is the book, The Feasts and Fasts of Israel. Yeah, those S's are hard for me to say, people. Their historical and prophetic significance. Get the book. It's really cool. I have it, as you guys know, right here on my desk. Wait, I'll pick it up. It's heavy. It's right here. $28, but you can save 20% on it. And then you can learn all about the feasts and fasts of Israel. See, when I was a child, I had speech therapy issues, and the F's were the issue that I had to deal with. And sometimes, just so you know, it's still hard for me to say S's correctly, but whatever. And my mom named me Stacy. Go figure, huh? Yeah. My name is Stacy. This is why I have a sense of humor. Okay, the other thing is, Legal Shield. You guys know Legal Shield is my side business. Thank God it starts with an L and an L. You guys can learn more by going to bit.ly/LOJ2019 and learn about the legal protection that you can get, as well as identity theft protection. And if you want to get in touch with me personally to learn more, that would be the preferred method. Just, you can either contact me through there or go to BibleNewsRadio.com, anywhere on social media. By the way, gotta tell you, Bible News Radio on Instagram. It's instagram.com/BibleNewsRadio. I am doing Bible reading in the morning now, on my story. That was weird. And I'm reading the book of 1 John there. I just started that this morning because I love the book of 1 John. It's one of my favorites. So you can check that out. You can also follow me at StacyLynnHarp.com. Not .com. On Instagram, where you can learn all about me as a person. Yeah, not that you care, but if you did, you can go ahead and follow me there. I post stuff there about Legal Shield and pickleball and my foot and the food I eat, and Jennifer pretty soon. You watch out, Jennifer, Dr. Jennifer Fee. And I have to say, that's the last thing. If you want to become a pillar of my community, Jennifer always says, she calls you people pillagers. Yeah, I did that. She's laughing really hard right now. Anyway, if you want to become a pillar of our community and give, hey, just go to BibleNewsRadio.com/give. Give as much as you can. We would accept it gladly. All right. We got about, 10 minutes left? Gosh, this time has gone fast. Okay, so Dr. Jennifer Fee is my guest today, and she is not only a superstar periscoper, gold star, Miss Show Off there, and all that, but she is a clinical psychologist out of Southern California, has a private practice in Newport Beach as well as Placentia, California. She has written a book that's not out yet, and she is a TEDx speaker, and also my partner in crime when it comes to this new webinar called Five Ways to a Peaceful Mind. Yeah. And we're both middle-aged, just so you know. Okay? All right. And there's Jennifer. Any comments? Do you?
You had to throw in the middle-aged piece under after all those accolades.
Hey, there is nothing wrong with being middle-aged.
No, that's true. That's true. It's the prime time of our life, right?
I hope.
Probably.
But
yes.
you did call my donors pillagers.
I did. Well, it's not an insult. It's just a play on words.
I always see, just like Randall and the word impactful. Now I cannot call my pillars because of you, because of the pillager comment in my head. You see how much we influence each other. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Melanie wants to know if there's any Flippo updates, and I think that you and I have come to the conclusion that Melanie did it.
Oh, we were going to frame. I know who did it, but we were going to frame Melanie. So, but those of you that don't know,
it's true.
Was it like a year or 2 years ago?
Over a year, I think.
Over a year ago that that Stacy's stuffed animal neck thing ended up dead. And we had a whole Snapchat series on like who killed Flippo the hippo.
Yep.
And I was busy and I couldn't, I couldn't finish the series. And then enough time went by that it's like, well, no one would, if we pick it up now, no one's going to know what we're talking about. Right. So I was content to let it go until Stacy came to my house. And it was very clear who had killed Flippo the hippo, because she came in one morning and she, had this confession that she had broken a family heirloom of mine. She was cute how serious and concerned she was. Taking her shoe off while she was like in bed. I don't know why she was wearing her shoes in bed. Throws her shoe across the room, right? It hits this map of the U.S. that my child had made. This map out of clay or something.
Yeah, it did.
And broke it. She broke the U.S. Texas is no longer there. Texas is like gone, disintegrated. So I said, and it didn't bother me. I said, oh, no, no worries. I didn't know what I was going to do with this thing anyway. It's like big and taking up all the space. And my kid's like, in college and he probably made it when he was 10. I'll just take a picture of it, and then I can finally throw away this thing. So I go out to take a picture of it. And on the map is this poor mosquito squished and dead. Stacy killed the mosquito with her shoe. Yeah, all that to say, we did decide together to frame Melanie for the hippo. But if you want to know the truth, it was Stacy.
Out of order, Dr. Jennifer Fee. Yes, you are out of order. Yeah, you are. I should find you in contempt of being a guest on my show.
I'm just the truth teller.
It is so true. Yeah. Melanie did kill Flippo the hippo. And yes, I did kill this huge mosquito. 15 of them. There's like, what happened was all the door, and anyway, all these mosquitoes came in her house, and I was just like, ah! And I mean, they were big, and I'm like, I am not going to like have one of these big, ugly California mosquitoes land on me. No, I'm not. It was that big. They were huge. So anyway, yeah. So I murdered them. Yeah, I did. And it was a total accident because the mosquito was on the wall, right? And so I took off my shoe and I threw it up there in order to get them to go down so then I could kill them better. Yeah, I did.
But instead, you broke a family heirloom.
I did. I thought about lying about it, but I did. I told her kid first. I was like, where's your mom at? She's gone right now. I'm like, oh, all right. So anyway, enough about this. But
Do you have any serious mental health questions?
yeah, let's see here. Melanie said, I'm going to turn this framing over to my Legal Shield attorney. You'll have to pay the 25% fee on that one because it's not covered under under the benefit. Let's see here. Vandalism. Okay. Poor hippo. Okay. Hi, Annie. Annie says that she needs mental health therapy now. All right. So my daughter put off her wedding and engagement. Okay. So are you feeling disappointed about that? Or what is it that we can help you with, Annie? If you are still here and you can do that. Or if anybody else has a question in the remaining time that we are together, not killing or breaking insects or family heirlooms. My ad. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm waiting for Annie. I think she's typing in things.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching us helps. Aw, that's so sweet.
Oh.
Yeah, it does. We are calming influencers. Yeah, we are.
Well, Stacy always make me laugh, so just when I'm feeling down, just you telling one of your corny jokes makes me feel better.
Well, laughter does make the world go round. All right, Mama Gina says, what are some ways you can calm yourself when anxiety is high? That's a good question. I'll let the expert psychologist answer the question.
And this is something I think you have to experiment with to see what works for you, because different things are going to work for different people. But one of my favorites is the abdominal breathing, where you focus on breathing from your abdomen. A lot of people don't do it correctly, so they'll say, oh, that breathing thing doesn't work. But if you learn how to do it properly, which is good to practice when you're not anxious, it can be very calming when you are. And I would say a good majority of my clients will say that the breathing is one of the most helpful tools. But also just calming, self-talk, reminding yourself that anxiety is like a passing feeling. It's just a sensation. My speaking coach actually says, don't call it anxiety, call it sensation. And I don't know if I'd go that far, but part of her point is that if you can accept it as something that you're just feeling and not something scary, then it will have less power over you. And I find that helpful with speaking. It's like if I expect my stomach to be upset, or if I expect my heart to be, pounding uncomfortably, and reminding myself that it'll pass, it does. It does pass. Mm-hmm. So I could go on and on, but I know we're running up against time, so I will stop.
All
That's
right.
the stuff not all the time.
And we'll take one more question from Sean. Sean says, excuse me, that was awkward. Anyway, Sean says, should you contact a relative you don't want to talk to? Should you contact a relative who don't want to talk to you? Who that probably should say who doesn't want to talk to you after 20 years, or leave it alone?
Ooh, we're going to end with that. That's such a heavy question. I think I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I think that's something worth exploring all the pros and cons with, and maybe with an outside person, an objective person, and look at what would be the consequence of, contacting that person or not. And I talk, I tell a story about contacting my own dad after 27 years, but of note, where we didn't have contact. But there's a difference between, maybe if someone tells you and sets a boundary, don't contact me, versus when there's just been a less clear falling out or drifting apart or something like that. So context and circumstance really, really do matter.
Yeah, it does. Totally does matter. That was good advice. Yeah, it was.
I like to say that I give people options to consider, and part of a lot of these situations that people ask about on Periscope, there's not like a one direct do this, don't do that, but consider this or consider that, or talk through this or think through that kind of response is what I've found.
Mm-hmm. Well, and not only that, but I think also asking a lot of questions, kind of the onion, poor onions. Why do onions have to be used? There's other fruits or vegetables that have layers besides onions. But, anyway, for sake of analogy, onions, we got to peel back the layers, Yeah, we do. Why don't we use the hard-boiled egg as an example? Crack the shell, take it off, and then you can take off the white egg part and then end up with the yolk. There you go. The yolk is on you. Oh, that was awesome that is recorded.
It's awful.
You're going to use that with a client. You know you will. Just so some of you will.
How's that joke going over with your audience? Because I know the last time we told a joke, it didn't go over so well.
True. Anyway, I thought that was funny. Obviously. Randall's like, you always make yourself laugh. Yeah, I do.
You do. You crack yourself up. It's fun to watch you laugh at yourself.
Hey, it makes other people laugh.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you laugh at yourself too much? Well, hey, you'll never cease to be amused if you can laugh at yourself. Somebody said that once. I don't know who it was. Was it Bareface? It was Bareface, my husband. I quote him all the time and just don't realize it. But anyway, all right. In all seriousness, Dr. Jennifer Fee is my guest and my buddy. I love her, as you know. I do. Anyway, but here's the thing. We are doing a webinar. It's free, and it's called 5 Ways to a Peaceful Mind. And here's the deal. If you deal with doubt, anxiety, attention deficit disorder, anything that creates anxiety or angst in your life, then you want to join us for this because you're going to learn a lot. We have a limited time to do it. And it's next Wednesday, so I'm giving you a couple of days to sign up for it. Go to that link right there, bit.ly/5, the word peace, all in capital letters, and sign up. A couple of you have, and I want to appreciate you for doing that already, but hopefully more of you do, because what Dr. Jennifer Fee and me are going to share, Fee and me, just, I have to, and anyway, what we're going to share will help your life. It's next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and 7 Mountain Time, I believe. Yeah, it is. But if you go to that link, that bit.ly link, bit.ly/5, the word peace, sign up. Go there, just sign up. You'll get an email that will tell you. We'll put the link in. This is going to be held on Zoom, which is a platform. It's a video platform. It's going to be video. So you'll get to interact with both of us. Yeah, you will. And you'll be so happy you did. Because I will be like Tigger, and Jennifer will be like calm, like Piglet, Or, I don't want to say Eeyore, because you're not really Eeyore. But, I don't know. Who do you, like Pooh, maybe? Are you more like Pooh? Who are you? Who are you like? Huh?
Who am I like?
Kanga.
Kanga?
No, yeah, I like that. Yes.
No, you don't have to download anything. You can actually join on your phone too. You might have to you can go to zoom.us ahead of time and set up a free account. It'll make it easier for you. But yeah, you can actually join by phone too. Just dial in. So, but we're going to be on video because it's a webinar. So you get to see us. Okay, you have any final comments?
Me? Oh, no, I just I hope you all join us. Have a good time, and hopefully you will learn something, and I'm looking forward to it. So, thanks for having me on, Stacy. Always appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everybody. Bible News Radio is now adjourned. So remember, people, be bold, stand up, and go with God, because He loves you.